It is 1:44 a.m. The Gulf of Oman, 240 nautical miles southeast of the Strait of Hormuz, in deep water that runs 3,200 meters from surface to seafloor and carries, at this hour, the absolute stillness of an ocean that has been undisturbed by commercial shipping for the last 60 nautical miles in every direction. The sky is overcast. A high, thin layer of cirrus cloud at 28,000 feet blocks the stars without providing any useful cover to anything operating below it. The cloud is translucent enough that thermal sensors looking down through it lose nothing measurable, and the radar environment beneath it is entirely unaffected. Temperature at the surface, 27 degrees Celsius. Wind from the northwest at 9 knots. Sea state 2. The overcast gives the night a particular quality. Not dark in the way a moonless clear night is dark, but diffusely gray. The horizon invisible. The sea and sky merging into a single gray-black plane that makes visual range at the surface effectively zero. You cannot see across this water at night by eye. You can see across it with complete precision and in real time by radar, infrared, and electronic intelligence. And the difference between those two visual paradigms is, tonight, the entire story. USS Ronald Reagan, CVN-76, is operating in a modified figure-8 pattern at the center of her strike group, having completed her 11:30 p.m. launch cycle 2 hours and 14 minutes ago. The flight deck is in a between cycles posture. Aircraft respotted, fuel lines secured, the controlled quiet of a carrier resting between operational surges. The Combat Information Center is fully manned, as it always is, because a carrier in the Gulf of Oman does not reduce its sea-icy watch regardless of flight deck tempo. The AN/SPY-1DV radar is in full active mode, painting the Gulf of Oman and the southern approaches to the Strait of Hormuz in every direction at ranges that comfortably cover the Iranian coastline, 220 nautical miles to the north. The E-2D Advanced Hawkeye that launched at 11 p.m. is on its second orbit of the current patrol station, 85 nautical miles northwest of the carrier, its AN/APY-9 radar working the airspace above the approaches from the Iranian coast with the methodical, unhurried thoroughness of a system that has been designed to detect exactly the kind of contact that appears on its display at 1:44 a.m. Small, very small. Multiple contacts, airborne, low altitude, slow. The AN/APY-9 radar aboard the E-2D has a specific operational mode designed for exactly this detection problem: the discrimination of small, slow, low-flying aerial contacts against the clutter of ocean surface returns, a problem that became operationally pressing for American naval planners when the proliferation of loitering munitions and one-way attack drones demonstrated that the threat envelope for carrier strike groups extended downward in speed and altitude well below the parameters that 1990s air defense planning had optimized for. The mode works by combining multiple radar sweeps into a moving target indicator process that distinguishes contacts with consistent velocity vectors from stationary clutter returns. It takes 3 radar sweeps, approximately 9 seconds, to build a confident track on a slow-moving contact at low altitude. The E-2D crew had their first tracks confirmed at 1:44:51 a.m., 7 seconds after first detection. The contacts were bearing 332 from the E-2D's position, range 84 nautical miles from the E-2D, and approximately 161 nautical miles from USS Ronald Reagan, altitude between 50 and 200 meters, speed between 165 and 185 knots. Multiple, the track algorithm was still sorting out the exact count from the initial detection, but the preliminary picture showed at least 14 contacts in a loose formation covering approximately 6 nautical miles of lateral spread. Their approach vector, extrapolated forward, projected to a point in the Gulf of Oman that, at the carrier's current speed and heading, would place USS Ronald Reagan within 15 nautical miles of the formation's projected arrival point in approximately 52 minutes. 14 contacts. Low and slow. Iranian coast bearing. One-way approach vector. The E-2D's senior controller had the classification within 11 seconds of track confirmation. The emission profile was in the library, added in 2022 following a comprehensive intelligence collection operation that had yielded the navigation system frequency, the autopilot data link, and the thermal signature of the Shahed-136's single WWP 11-piston engine at various power settings. The classification returned: Shahed-136 autonomous loitering munition, high confidence, 14 contacts, bearing 332, range 84 nautical miles from E-2D, 14 Shahed-136S, inbound, bearing 332, 52 minutes to the carrier's projected position. The Shahed-136 requires an honest technical assessment because its combat record in other operational theaters has generated a great deal of attention and a great deal of analysis, not all of it accurate or applicable to the specific scenario developing tonight. The Shahed-136 is a delta-wing loitering munition, a one-way attack drone, not a reusable aircraft, powered by a single small piston engine that produces an acoustic signature audible at close range and a thermal signature detectable by infrared sensors at operationally useful distances. It carries a 40-kilogram blast fragmentation warhead in the nose, detonating on impact. Its navigation system uses GPS guidance to fly a programmed route to target coordinates, with no active radar seeker and no terminal guidance update beyond GPS position maintenance. Range: approximately 2,000 kilometers, more than sufficient for operations in the Gulf of Oman from coastal Iran. Speed: 165 to 185 knots. Unit cost: approximately $20,000 to $30,000 per airframe, making it the most cost-effective long-range strike option in the Iranian arsenal by a margin measured in multiples. Against unprotected targets, fixed facilities, surface vehicles, commercial ships not equipped with air defense systems, the Shahed-136 has demonstrated genuine operational effectiveness in documented combat employment. It is accurate enough for GPS-guided attacks on fixed coordinates. Its small radar cross-section and low speed make it more difficult to detect by ground-based radar in cluttered terrain environments than a conventional missile. These characteristics have made it a serious concern to planners protecting fixed infrastructure in a variety of contexts. Against a carrier strike group with an E-2D on station, Aegis-equipped escorts, and 52 minutes of warning, the Shahed-136's characteristics produce a completely different engagement calculus. Its GPS navigation means it has no terminal guidance update. The target coordinates were entered before launch, and the drone will fly to those coordinates regardless of where the carrier has moved since the targeting solution was built. A carrier moving at 18 knots for 52 minutes covers approximately 15.6 nautical miles. If the targeting solution was built from satellite imagery, taken 4 hours before the drones were programmed, a conservative estimate for Iranian intelligence collection timelines in this area, the carrier has moved between 40 and 80 nautical miles from the coordinates the Shahed-136 are flying toward. The warhead will detonate when each drone reaches its target coordinates. If no ship is at those coordinates, the detonation occurs in empty water. The IRGCN planners who designed tonight's operation understood this problem. Their mitigation was volume and spread. 14 drones, launched at staggered intervals, programmed with slightly different target coordinates, distributed across an area calculated to cover the carrier's probable position, given conservative movement assumptions. The spread covered approximately 18 nautical miles of ocean. A box designed to ensure that at least some of the drones arrived at coordinates close enough to the carrier that the blast effect or terminal navigation uncertainty would produce a hit. The logic was sound. The implementation was hampered by one variable that the IRGCN's planning did not fully account for: 52 minutes of warning, an E-2D with real-time tracking on all 14 drones, and a carrier that had already received the contact picture and begun moving in a direction specifically calculated to exit the programmed target box entirely. The E-2D downlinked its contact picture to USS Ronald Reagan's Aegis combat system at 1:44:58 a.m., 7 seconds after track confirmation. The strike group commander was in the CIC at 1:46 a.m. He read the contact picture in approximately 6 seconds. He made 3 decisions in rapid sequence. First, battle stations. Second, to the navigator. New course 095, speed 28 knots. Execute immediately. Third, get me the air wing duty officer. I want F/A, 18 Fs in the air in 15 minutes. The new course, due east, away from the inbound drone formation's approach bearing of 332, combined with 28 knots of speed, would move the carrier approximately 22 nautical miles east of her current position in the 47 minutes remaining before the Shahed-136S arrived at their programmed coordinates. The IRGCN's target box, designed to cover 18 nautical miles of probable carrier position, would be 4 nautical miles short of the carrier's new position, even if the drones flew to the edge of their programmed spread. Reagan was going to exit the box entirely before the drones arrived, not because the drones couldn't reach her new position in theory, but because they had no mechanism to update their guidance once airborne. They would fly to the coordinates they were given, and those coordinates would contain only the Gulf of Oman. The carrier's course change was communicated through Link 16 to every ship in the formation within 2 seconds of the order. USS Chancellorsville, CG-62, the dedicated air defense cruiser operating 16 nautical miles to Reagan's northwest, adjusted her own position to maintain her defensive station relative to the carrier. USS Fitzgerald, DDG-62, 19 nautical miles to the northeast, maneuvered to optimize her Aegis engagement geometry against the incoming drone tracks. USS John S. McCain, DDG-56, 22 nautical miles to the southwest, was assigned the outer intercept sector and began computing SM-2 Block IIIB engagement solutions against the 14 inbound contacts. The SM-2 Block IIIB is not the instinctive choice for a Shahed-136 engagement. The SM-2 is a sophisticated, expensive surface-to-air missile designed primarily for the medium to high-altitude airborne threat, aircraft, anti-ship missiles, ballistic re-entry vehicles in terminal defense. The Shahed-136, flying at 180 knots and 100 meters altitude with a radar cross-section smaller than a sports car, is not the threat the SM-2 was optimized to engage. It is, however, a threat the SM-2 can engage. The Block IIIB variant's infrared terminal seeker, which homes on the target's heat signature in the final phase of the intercept, is well suited to the Shahed-136's WAUP 11-piston engine exhaust, which produces a consistent and trackable thermal signature at the ranges where the SM-2 enters its terminal guidance phase. The SM-2 would be used for the outer intercept layer, picking off drones at ranges between 20 and 40 nautical miles from the carrier, while the inner layers would use shorter-range, lower-cost weapons. Two FA-18Fs launched from USS Ronald Reagan at 1:59 a.m., 15 minutes after the strike group commander's order, exactly as requested. They climbed to 20,000 feet and turned northwest, their AN/APG-79 AESA radars in air-to-surface mode, painting the inbound drone formation with targeting quality tracks. At 20,000 feet, looking down at 14 slow-moving contacts, crossing a flat ocean at 100 to 200 meters altitude, the AN/APG-79 had no detection challenge. The contacts were clear, numerous, and on predictable straight-line tracks. The lead pilot selected her first target at 2:04 a.m., a Shahed-136 at the leading edge of the formation, range 31 nautical miles, bearing 289 from her current position. She fired an AIM-9X Sidewinder. The heat-seeking missile, guided by the WP-11's exhaust plume, intercepted the Shahed-136 at 2:04:51 a.m., 118 nautical miles from USS Ronald Reagan's new position. The FA-18Fs worked through the formation methodically, alternating targets between lead and wingman to maintain mutual situational awareness and prevent engagement duplication. Each AIM-9X took between 45 and 90 seconds from launch to intercept, depending on the engagement geometry. Over the next 18 minutes, the two aircraft expended 9 AIM-9Xs and achieved 9 intercepts. 9 Shahed-136 removed from the operational picture at ranges between 95 and 118 nautical miles from the carrier. The fighters departed the engagement area at 2:22 a.m. to rearm. 5 Shahed-136S remained. They had survived the outer fighter layer because they were at the trailing edge of the formation. The last to launch, the slowest to close, the ones whose approach geometry had placed them in sectors where the F/A-18F's engagement sequence had reached its weapons and fuel limits before addressing them. 5 drones, 34 to 41 nautical miles from the carrier's new position, still on the tracks programmed before launch, flying toward coordinates that the carrier was now 22 nautical miles east of. USS John S. McCain fired her first SM-2 Block IIIB at 2:19 a.m. against the lead-surviving Shahed-136 at a range of 38 nautical miles from the carrier. The SM-2's infrared terminal seeker acquired the WP-11 exhaust plume cleanly and guided the interceptor to within lethal radius. Intercept confirmed at 2:19:58 a.m. Second SM-2 at 2:20:14 a.m. Third at 2:20:31 a.m. Fourth at 2:20:49 a.m. 4 intercepts in 55 seconds, each confirmed by the E-2D's radar as the contacts terminated. The fifth surviving Shahed-136, the last of the original 14, flew through the SM-2 engagement sector without being engaged in the first salvo because its track placed it slightly outside the optimal illuminator geometry for McCain's fire control system, given the concurrent engagements. The Aegis fire control algorithm had prioritized the 4 contacts with the most direct approach vectors first. The 5th contact was addressed at 2:21:17 a.m. with a single SM-2. Intercept confirmed at 2:22:01 a.m. 44 nautical miles from USS Ronald Reagan's current position, a position that was itself 22 nautical miles east of the coordinates the Shahed-136 had been programmed to attack. 14 Shahed-136 loitering munitions, 9 intercepts by F/A 18Fs at ranges between 95 and 118 nautical miles. 5 intercepts by SM-2 Block IIIB at ranges between 38 and 44 nautical miles. 0 drones reaching the carrier's actual position. The entire engagement had been conducted at ranges where the Shahed-136's 40-kilogram warhead posed no threat to any ship in the strike group, because the strike group was 22 nautical miles east of where the drones were going, and the drones had no way to follow. In the CIC, the strike group commander reviewed the engagement summary at 2:24 a.m. The watch team presented it with the quiet efficiency of a team that had executed their procedures correctly and knew it. 14 contacts inbound, 14 contacts terminated, 0 reaching within 38 nautical miles of the carrier's new position, 0 reaching within 60 nautical miles of the carrier's actual position during the engagement. He looked at the tactical display. The drone tracks were all terminated. The carrier was on course 095, speed 28 knots, 22 nautical miles east of the IRGCN's target box, the Gulf of Oman blue and empty around her. The E-2D was still on station. The FA-18Fs were recovering to rearm. The formation was intact. "Stand down from battle stations in 20 minutes, he said. "And get me the intelligence officer. I want the full signature package from the drone formation before anyone stands down from the collection posture." The signature package was already being compiled. From the moment the E-2D first detected the formation at 1:44 a.m., every Shahed-136's emission profile had been collected continuously. The GPS navigation signal, the autopilot data link, the WP-11 engine acoustic signature at various power settings, the drone-specific radar cross-section profile, as measured by the E-2D's own radar at varying angles of incidence. 14 drones, tracked from 84 nautical miles to intercept, had provided a comprehensive operational emissions profile of the Shahed-136 in live attack employment. The data would update the threat library. It would refine the detection algorithms. It would inform the engagement planning for every carrier strike group operating in the region for the next 18 months. Iran spent approximately $350,000 on 14 Shahed-136, a number that Iranian defense economists have cited as evidence of the weapon's cost-effectiveness as an instrument of asymmetric pressure against American naval power. The argument has a theoretical basis. At $25,000 per drone versus $400,000 per SM-2, the economics appear to favor the attacker in any exchange where American interceptors are the response. The argument fails in the specific application of tonight's operation for reasons that have nothing to do with unit costs. The first reason is that 9 of the 14 intercepts were achieved by AIM-9X Sidewinders fired from F/A-18Fs, a weapon that costs approximately $450,000 per round, but that the fighters carry in quantity, and that was entirely appropriate for slow, non-maneuvering drone targets at the engagement ranges available tonight. The second reason is that a drone with no terminal guidance update, flying to pre-programmed coordinates, is not cost-effective regardless of its unit price if the target has moved 22 nautical miles east of those coordinates before the drone arrives. The $350,000 worth of Shahed-136 flew to an empty patch of Gulf of Oman and detonated there. The cost-effectiveness calculus requires the weapons to reach the target. The Shahed-136 is a genuine threat to static targets, to commercial shipping, and to any naval force operating without the sensor architecture and defensive depth that a carrier strike group maintains. Against a carrier with an E-2D on station, 52 minutes of warning, a maneuvering doctrine that exits the target box before the drones arrive, FA-18Fs armed with heat-seeking missiles, and SM-2 Block IIIBs with infrared terminal seekers. The Shahed-136's GPS-only navigation is not a limitation that volume compensates for. It is a fundamental architectural constraint that makes the weapon, in this specific engagement context, less than the sum of its parts. Iran's proudest asymmetric weapon sent 14 one-way attack drones against the most capable carrier strike group in the world and achieved zero effects on target. USS Ronald Reagan completed her Gulf of Oman operations. Her flight deck resumed launch operations at 4 a.m., exactly as planned, as if the previous 2 hours and 16 minutes had been a minor inconvenience that had been resolved efficiently and set aside. Because that is exactly what they were. The Gulf of Oman is not an Iranian operational testing range. Tonight, it provided a different kind of test entirely. A test of the proposition that GPS-guided drones, sent in volume, can defeat a prepared carrier strike group. The test produced a clear result. They cannot. Bye for now.